What's up, everybody? This is episode 118 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout outs to everybody that's been supporting us thus far. Go check out our episodes on YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. But before we start, we gotta pay some bills real quick. So, this episode is sponsored by the Players Circle. I discovered the Players Circle in the App Store when trying to find a product to track athletes. The Players Circle is a social video platform where players can share their stats, highlights, and accomplishments. So if you can hoop and you want to get discovered, then you should join the Player Circle. So go on the App Store, everybody. Go check out the app, the Player Circle right now. It's a great app. If you want to showcase your highlights for college coaches to see, go check it out. But without further ado, we have a very special guest tonight. This young man hails from the borough of Queens, New York. He is innovator. He fights for the underdogs. That is, the underdogs that haven't been given a chance to showcase themselves, that don't have much of a voice to speak for themselves. He's a growing figure in the New York City basketball community. Definitely loves the kids, helping the young men get to where they need to go. And tonight we have Mr. Kaamil Dillard. Kyle, thank you for
Thanks,
coming
Dave.
on.
Appreciate you, Dave. You know you call me Kyle.
Nah. But yeah, let's get started. So this is one of my questions that I love to start out with. So being that you are a coach, what's Kyle's coaching philosophy?
I work everybody. Hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. That's my motto. Like I live by that. You know what I mean? Like that's ain't nothing else. You know what I mean? When the talent ain't there, when shots ain't falling, long as you run hard and you play hard, a dude that got talent, he could be outplayed by somebody that's just playing harder than him. So play hard. You know what I'm saying? You never know who's watching.
Right. So let's start from the very beginning. When did basketball first, become a part of your life?
I was young. I would say like 5, maybe 5, 4. Like I come from a basketball family, so you know what I mean. Like my uncles, my pops, everybody played ball. So my uncle went to University of New Mexico. My cousin went to Malloy. Like everybody played basketball. So I was like with a ball in the crib since a baby. Like I just loved it. You know what I mean? Like my first news article in the paper was when I played in Bake, and I was thinking like kindergarten. I played in brothers against killing each other. So basketball has just been my love since I was a kid.
So, what part of Queens are you from? And talk about the basketball culture there.
I'm from South Jamaica, Queens. I'm from South Jamaica Houses, 40 Projects. Guys from my hood that made it. Dave Edwards. Who else? Dave Edwards, Rafer Alston. Skip to my Lou. All those type of guys. I be in Queensbridge too. So my uncle Eric Chatfield, Danny Artest, Ron Artest. All of those guys, you know what I'm saying? So I come from that background. Showtime is from around the corner from me and on the other side of the tracks. Lamar Odom's from on that side. So, I'm from a basketball neighborhood. Corey Edwards is my longtime friend that lived down the block from me, that went to Christ the King. Corey Edwards. I grew up with Sean Johnson, Sean Mack Johnson. Like, you know what I mean? I played with a lot of guys growing up. So I'm from a basketball neighborhood, and I went to school uptown too. I grew up in the Bronx too. So my high school years, I was in the Bronx. I was running around with guys like Jordan Aaron, Gucc Robertson, you know what I mean? Those type of guys, Adamo. Rest in peace, my guy Pop from Kennedy. You know what I mean? 40 from Kennedy. I used to hang out with a lot of guys. You know what I mean? I've just been around ball my whole life.
Now, South Jamaica Houses, 40 Projects. Talk about what it's like growing up in that gritty area.
to regular projects. You know what I mean? It's just like any other projects, man. You got your good, you got your bad. You know, you got the guys that try to keep you out the neighborhood, you know, keep you out of trouble, things of that nature. You know, I'm one of the guys that fell victim to the streets, you know, started doing shit I had no business doing. And, you know, I paid my price for it. So, you know, but it's a good neighborhood, you know what I mean? It's what you make of it, you know? You become the company that you keep.
Yeah, man, I feel you, man. I'm from a tough neighborhood in the Bronx too. Beekman
Okay.
houses. So,
Oh yeah, that's right up the block from. Well, not right up the block, but yeah, I'm familiar with it.
so yeah, like I'm probably one of like a part of the 4% that actually went to college and graduated. So I look at that as, you know, something to be proud of right there. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know, because not many people make it out of this neighborhood to do great things. So that's big for me. But
Most
moving forward,
definitely.
yeah, moving forward. So ISA is in Jamaica, Queens. Like, you know, talk about, you know, whatever memories you have over there of that tournament.
Well, I went to ISA, so I got a lot of memories. But
Mhm.
my most fond memory of ISA, I would have to be the game like Talik Brown, Andre Barrett, and Omar Cook. Like that game was just different. Like, and then another game that I had went to was like Cliffy Clinkscales and Sebastian had played against each other. Like my mom's with me. Like I asked before the week was like in the beginning of the week, could I go to the game? She was like, nah, it's too late. I snuck to the game and got my ass whooped. You know what I mean? So like that was the best
Wow.
game ever, man. That was the best game ever. Like I see Cliffy Clinkscales is from 2 blocks up from me. You know what I mean? He from my
Yeah.
neighborhood. So to see him and Bassy and them go at it, like I was a fan from Cliffy since a kid. Like I don't know,
Mhm.
he was on Oprah Winfrey show sitting on the couch. You know what I mean? In the 5th grade.
Wow.
Word. Like I was in like kindergarten. He was in the 5th grade on Oprah couch. You know what I mean? I only wanted to go to ABCD camp because I saw Cliffy on there dribbling the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
gotta get
like
Cliff
whenever,
on here.
yeah, whenever I see whenever like no lie, bro. If there was a YouTube, Cliffy would have been Mel Mel. Like Cliffy was what Mel Mel is right now. You know
Wow.
what I mean? It wasn't no internet. But
Mhm.
that's why I learned how to play the game from like watching Cliffy playing. So, like he always made the right pass and did something like so I always wanted to be Cliffy. You know what I'm saying? I used to think I was Cliffy in Showtime.
I hear that, man. So yeah, what age did that beating occur? Like she said, why didn't moms want you to go to the game?
Oh, because it was like a late game at that time. You know what I'm saying? The games at ISA was like 8 o'clock, 7:30 game.
Oh, okay,
So it
okay.
was the main event games. And at that time, I probably was like 12, 11.
Yeah. Growing up in South Jamaica, then yeah, I mean, it's understandable as to why she didn't want you out at that hour. You know, because you know things could go bad at that time of night.
Most definitely. And she just knew, you know what I'm saying? Like ain't no telling, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling what could happen. I could be with a friend and a friend be like, hey, let's go try something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
At
Right.
that time, I ain't gonna lie, I was getting in a lot of trouble when I was young.
Mm-hmm. Now, so what were some of the tournaments that you used to play in that you love playing in? I should say.
My favorite tournament to play in growing up was in memory of Molly. It was like right behind my hood. Um, it was the best. I love playing in triple threat, Ron Artest tournament. He used to have the vitamin water right out on 12th Street.
Mm-hmm.
And all the Catholic schools played in that. It was basically like Catholic school versus the AAU teams. I love the Kenny Anderson tournament. The Kenny Anderson tournament was one of my favorite. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't press before half court because the gym was just so damn small. It was smaller than OSL gym.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah, so I won that. We played in that with the Panthers. We won that like 3 years in a row. We couldn't even play no more.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Favorite tournaments? Yeah, that was some of them. Housing was another one. When I moved to the Bronx, I enjoyed playing in housing. Housing was like everybody hood versus each other. So it was cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was pretty much it, really. Baby Rucker was fun as a kid.
Yeah, 45th. I
Yep,
never
they
got
used to
to
call
play
me
in that.
yeah, Baby Rucker was fun. They used to call me the left-handed magician when I was a kid, and then I loved it.
Yeah, man. Shout outs to Baby Rucker. I think, unfortunately, it's like I don't know why people don't put their teams in there. Well, big names don't put their teams in that tournament. That tournament was always good, but now you see probably more of the lesser known teams. You know what I'm saying, in those
Because there's
tournaments.
so many teams now.
Yeah, too many, way too many. So yeah, if they could find a way to get Baby Rucker back to what it once was, that would be really big, man. Yeah, man. So when did you move to the Bronx?
My mom's moved to the Bronx my freshman year.
So you was planning on going to school in Queens, and then she probably told you, yo, we moving, da 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 da.
Well, I did go to school my freshman year. I went to school in Queens, and then after that, I had a little stint in Atlanta where I went to school in Atlanta. And when I came back, I went to Bronx Leadership Academy.
Okay. Oh, you got sent away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, so, it was really fun though. I got to broaden my horizons. I got a couple friends that I'm still friends with and cool with. And it was good because when I went down there, I got to see my man Cliffy play again. And this time he was throwing alley-oops. He was throwing alley-oops to Josh Smith, Dwight Howard.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was fun. Being out there then, that was fun.
Yeah. Shout outs to the basketball community in Atlanta. I was just down there about 10 days ago to be exact. Because I was at the Tip-Off Classic. It's sad that, unfortunately, a lot of the events are not actually in the city. They on the outskirts. So that's the part that's whack. But it seems like every weekend there's always something going on down there, from middle school on up to high school.
Yep, most definitely.
So, all right. So you said you went to Bronx Leadership?
Yeah.
So yeah, what was Bronx Leadership like?
Oh, Bronx Leadership Academy, man, that introduced me to the Bronx, man. Shouts out to all my friends from BLA, man. BLA was great, you know what I'm saying? I went there when Jordan Aaron had the school in a frenzy. Like sophomore, junior year, Jordan was averaging like 30. So, that was cool. Like Bronx Leadership, it was a small school. It was something that I needed, you know what I mean? Coming from a big atmosphere and being around in a school with over 1,000 people. Now I'm going to a school where it's only like 400 or 500 people. So it was cool, you know what I mean? It was very good atmosphere. I started getting out and I started to learn the Bronx. That was my years of exploring the Bronx and having a fun and great time.
So talk about, meeting Gucc.
That's my
shout out to my guy
there,
Gucc, man.
Yeah, shouts out to Gucc, man. Gucc, me and Gucc, man, we got into a lot of trouble in school, man. Cutting everything, man. Gucc was my guy, yo. Like, I knew Gucc before the chat and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but nah, yeah, Gucc, man, that was my guy. Like, me and Gucci was super cool, and we were friends because my daughter's mother and his girlfriend at the time were like best friends. So that's how we became. We was already cool, but you know what I'm saying? That just enhanced it and made us hang out more. Me and Gucci used to play ball from start out all the way in Webster or start out in St. Mary's Park and work our way all the way up to 225th and Marble Hill.
Wow.
Like, that'll be our Saturday, just hooping all the way from there to Claremont to Clay Ave. Then we'll go up to 200th Street on Fordham. From Fordham, we go all the way up to like, right there by 225th and Marble Hill, the top of the hills, all that. You know what I'm saying? What's that, Riverdale?
Yeah.
Bronx, we play all that, you know what I mean? So, like, me and Gucci, that was like my partner. Like, we ran the streets playing ball all day.
Yo.
That was my guy.
What you just described is like a throwback to what people used to do back in the days. Sadly, a lot of kids are not doing that anymore unless a tournament is involved or there's going to be cameras around, which is
we was
sad.
happy just to be hooping, man. We was just happy to be hooping, man. Because
Yeah.
you knew, like, so you try to go on runs, you know what I mean? Like, yo, we're going to St. Mary's Park. Listen, you know we're going to be in there cooking up. So let's go in there, get on a 5-game win streak. Then we're going to jump on the 41 bus and go to Claremont. 170. Once we go from 170 Claremont, we're going to hop on the 1 bus and take the 1 bus all the way up to Fordham. Then get off the 1 bus and get on the 9 and take the 9 to 225th and play. And that was just your whole day, you know what I mean?
And
like, you knew the gun.
Half the times, people didn't have no money.
Oh, man, we was kings of hopping on the back of the 41. This was before the 41 bus was
before
express.
It went so
This is when the 41 bus went all the way up to 241st.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean? They
Those
don't
were the
remember
days.
That day when remember when the 41 went all the way past Gun Hill to 241st in Wakefield?
Yeah, that's crazy.
They don't remember that.
Yeah,
I'm that old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So many things that used to be that are no longer around, which is crazy. A lot of kids will never know the old Bronx as we knew it.
I remember when Shorehaven was built.
Shorehaven, where's that?
Right there on the back of like the back of Soundview.
Okay, yeah. Oh, the private houses. Okay, yeah. Okay, the private houses with them courts. Okay, I know exactly.
Yeah, I remember when that was just a dirt field, and we used to cut through there. Like, yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about. What year did you graduate from BLA?
2010.
Oh wow! So you were in my class then.
Yeah, you letting people know how old I am, Dave.
Shout outs to the BLA graduating class of 2010. That's crazy, man. So it's been more than 10 years since we both graduated high school.
That's my crazy. Reunion is on the 11th of June.
So I actually know somebody that I think went to BLA. Do you know somebody named Desiree Dionisio?
That's my sis right there.
Shout outs to Desi, man.
Shouts out to Desiree, man. That's my sis right there. You heard? Desiree was in my 6th and 7th period class. You heard? Me and Desiree had 6th and 7th period U.S. history together.
Facts. So yeah, Desi, if you see this is my guy right here, good friend of mine. So
that's a fact.
Enjoy the shout out.
She's a West Virginia alumni.
Yes, WVU, go Mountaineers. So yeah, so let's talk about when you got into coaching.
I got into coaching when I came home from jail. I came home from my little bit I had to do. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I knew that I didn't want to go back to jail. So one day I was on Twitter. I jumped on my old account, looking, and I see my man. And I knew before I went to jail, I knew Gucc was doing this thing with the basketball and everything. I wanted to find a way into that. And one thing led to another. I just seen how he was doing it. I just started getting savvy again with it. And, you know, one day I went to my little cousin's game. It was a game Jamaica versus, I think it was Edison or something. And, like, I used to always train my little cousins and, you know, just give them little pointers and tips here and there and teach them how to play the game the right way, stuff like that. But I went to the game and shouts out to Teequan Lewis, because if it wasn't for Teequan Lewis, like, I wouldn't be training, I wouldn't be coaching, I wouldn't be doing anything. So, like, I'm watching the game and I'm watching him play, and, like, he could score and he's doing this and doing that. And you could tell he doesn't know how to play the game the right way. And I never really wanted to coach, but I loved, like, watching Gucc on Twitter and watching him train guys like Cole Anthony, James Bonknight before they was who they was. And I'm watching that and I'm seeing it, and I start training Teequan. You know what I mean? And this is before I knew what I'm gonna get into. And we in the bleeding cold. It's like 12 degrees outside. I got him outside getting up 500 shots, 1,000 shots. One day we was in the snow. It was snowing. I had him and his brother outside working out, and it just popped. You know what I mean? Like, I just fell in love with it. Then I went the prep school route, started working with Hamilton Hall Academy, And then that summer of 2019, man, it was just, that summer was everything. Like, shouts out to my boys that made it happen. Like, Anton Berga made me fall in love with training and working out, guys. You know what I mean? Him, Christian Smallhorn, Mike Randall, all those guys made me wind up start coaching because I seen how good they was and no one was giving them their opportunity. And I just turned Teequan into 1,000-point scorer. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna just get into this. And Gucc, the whole way, Gucc and Cliff like just kept telling me like, yo, you could do this, man. You could do this. Get into it. Do it. Change your Twitter up, really get into it. And I gave it a shot, and now we here.
So you talk about Anton Berga a lot. This is your chance to talk about him, in more in depth. For everybody that don't know Anton Berga, college coaches that are looking for players, this your floor. This your floor.
Anton was my, he was the dog. Like, he was the dog. He was the alpha out of my group. And I seen a lot of myself in him. You know what I mean? Just like his abilities and what he meant to the game and to the team. So, and he listened to everything that I said. Like, he trusted me, you know what I mean? And we just had a connection. Like, we bonded, and it became more than just basketball. You know what I mean? Like, I could put the stress on Anton that I couldn't put on other guys. Like, other guys didn't want it as bad as he wanted it. You know what I mean? And he put everything into it, man. And that was like, it was a time, like, as much as I needed him, he needed me. So it just, everything worked. Like, yo, Anton, we up at 7 a.m. We at it. All right, I'm there, Kyle. You know what I mean? You talking about taking a kid that he probably worked out before, but he's never really trained, or, you know what I mean? And we built that, and he went from going from, this kid that could shoot the ball very good. You know what I mean? He could shoot it, but he wasn't that strong. But you seen he could be athletic, and then he committed to the process and he trusted his shit. And Anton went from having no offers, no schools, to 6 months later he had like 20 schools on him. You know what I mean? And like, if he would have had a prep school yet, it probably would have been, the sky was the limit. Like, I had D1 coaches hitting me about him, interested and stuff like that. You know what I mean? COVID took the AAU year from us, but like, that's family. So we still working. We still got goals. We still got plans. Like, I can't put a cap on what he meant to my program and what he meant for me for coaching. You know what I mean? Like that's family.
Right. So, talk a little bit about, some of the other guys. You could, bring up some more of the other guys that you've mentored as well.
Another one of my favorites is like Teequan Holley. Like, Teequan is from my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Good kid, come from a good home. Had some mishaps. You know what I mean? Had a couple mess ups. You know what I mean? But he stayed with it, stayed the course, and he understands that everybody's path is different. I had guys like Jermain Griffiths, who went from Hillcrest averaging 24 a game to go to Upper Room, where he averaged a double-double for 2 years and probably is the most winningest player in Upper Room history. Won 2 championships. And all I did with him was same thing with Anton. Like, we became, if you want to work, I'm going to fall in love with it because I love the work. I love the process. So if you trust that and you love it, our combination is just going to be great. So, you know what I'm saying? Jermain Griffiths Mano was another one that just listened to everything that I said. And now he's at St. Rose and he's doing his thing. You know what I mean? D2, him, Anton D2, Teequan D2, Mike Randall's another one. That's one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying? A little cousin. He worked his ass off. Like, that's just me, man. Like, I care for the underdogs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to be for them what I wish I would have had as a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know if I would have had a me in my life that I would have been somewhere else instead of where I am now or where I ended up. So I just try to, and these guys come from the same neighborhood as me. You know what I mean? Like, I've been on that other side of the wall, on the fence, and I don't want any kid to go through that. You know what I mean? And if something I love is something they love, and it can help them, help me, help them, and help myself in the same token, then I'm for that. You know what I mean? Because it's about breaking the cycle, and the only way the cycle breaks is if somebody's falling on the sword for the gang. And that's me. I'm jumping on every bone for one of my kids. You know that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's touching. When you talk to, well, you mentioned being incarcerated. It's not where nobody really wants to be. But how did that? When you were in there, like, what was your motivation? As far as getting out, like, did you always pray in your cell at night, like, think like, if I just get the chance to come home, like, am I gonna do better? Like, what was the thought process?
I mean, I wanted to get home, but like at the same time, I just took that time to find myself. Like you'll drive yourself crazy if every day you just know you want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you gotta put your big boy pants on. You gotta own up to what you did. And that was pretty much it. But like, me and my man Legs used to talk every day. And I used to let him know, like, yo, like, I don't want to come back here. You know what I mean? And my man is doing this shit with basketball, and he's really successful with it. And it might be a way for me to get out of what I'm doing. And I had a plan. You know what I mean? Like, I had a plan. I made a plan. I drew it up, and I executed it. And not to a T. No, I didn't see it going the way that it's going now, but I did know that I wanted to get into this. Yeah. So I had a plan, and I knew that if I did everything the right way, that I wasn't coming back. So it's just really, you know what I'm saying, about, because you could say all you want, oh, I'm going to go home and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and then get home and do none of that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was pretty much like understanding that, like, when I came home, like, these are my friends, but they're not my friends. You know what I mean? And if
like,
I
you
want
have
to do
distance
this,
yourself from certain people so that you don't get thrown back in. Right.
Most definitely. Like, I distanced myself from that crowd, and I started meeting people in the basketball community, or just people, period, off of what I'm doing. And you know what I mean? And that drifted me away from my old lifestyle. Like, those are still my friends. Like, certain guys are genuinely just happy for me. And then there's guys that I just, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, yeah, that's what he's doing now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They respect it.
Yeah, like, you gotta love what you do, and you gotta do it to the fullest.
Exactly. Well said, man. So talk about, Royal Academy a little bit.
Royal Academy was designed basically because, I was calling myself Death Row at a point. We were Team Death Row, and I was Suge Knight.
Yeah.
And I mean, Royal Academy started with this. Royal Academy is basically just something that I do where we do training, development, skill development, stuff like that. We always been Death Row. Like, my original team will tell you, we Team Death Row, not Royal Academy. Like, they don't like the Royal Academy thing. So Royal Academy just became like, when the pandemic hit, I knew there wasn't going to be a season. I just knew it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling kids, like, I was probably the first person to tell kids, like, yo, there's not going to be a season, and I think you should get the fuck out of here and go to prep school or something.
Yeah.
But, like, there's not going to be a season.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. They didn't want to believe me. So Royal Academy started with that. And when the pandemic hit and I knew there was no season, I got a logo, called it Royal Academy, and we were playing prep schools.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I took kids that played in PSAL that weren't having a season and probably never heard from their high school coach since September, October. We in January, February, we playing games against prep schools. We play prestige prep. We playing prep schools just to, you know what I mean, get these guys film and footage. And I'm getting hit up by prep schools in Indiana, prep schools in South Carolina. Hey, come, you know what I mean? And if some parents would have put the money over, you know what I'm saying? If I had invested or whatever, anything could have happened. You know what I mean? Like, the money situation wasn't there, but we still was able to get games. And that's all I cared about, getting them filmed so I could put it out there to coaches. Because some of these kids, I knew there just wasn't going to be a season, and their parents couldn't afford prep school.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this pandemic, unfortunately, it hurt so many kids. You know what I'm saying? From all school systems, the private school system, the Catholic school system, but definitely the PSAL, because those were the kids that needed it the most. To be honest, they needed it the most, because like a lot of those kids that are seniors, it's like their coaches have no way to get, no connections, no way for them to actually help them as far as their recruitment. And then, now the CHSAA, shout outs to them. Now they're having their spring tournament, which starts next week. The PSAL, they're trying to get things going, but the whole outdoors thing, yeah, I have yet to see how that's going to work, because we're talking about 300 high schools. You know what I'm saying? Like, how, it's just so many things that could go terribly wrong. Like, if it was like just another random street ball tournament, that'd be okay. But the fact that it's school basketball and you're asking these teams to play concrete, some people would say, "Oh, people do that anyway during the summertime. So why is it a problem?" But when you look at it, you have so many people around the crowd, so it's like you have, there's no barricades, no school safety. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many things could go wrong. So many things go wrong.
I agree.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see how that could work. If not for the gyms having, ventilation issues, then, I would say, okay, maybe we could do that inside the building. But outdoors, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not the answer. It's like, and then on top of that, you have the fact that the players may get hurt, and you have rain, condensation in the air. So it's like, if it rains for 2 or 3 days, what happens to the games? You know what I'm saying? Like, since they won't move it indoors. And we're talking about, like we said, like hundreds of schools. You know what I'm saying? The Catholic League, they got it easy because there's less schools. But public schools, like, that's just, it's just gonna be tough to see.
It's gonna be madness. It's gonna be madness.
A whole lot
definitely is.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about the main reason why we're here. A Diamond in the Rough showcase. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay. What you want to know?
Break it down for anybody, for any and everybody, man. This is your chance to talk about what should be the grandest event in New York City in terms of exposure.
Diamond in the Rough showcase was built off of giving guys a chance. Like, a guy that he just hasn't been able to, be out there in the way the next guy is. Or he just didn't have the AAU career. Or he went to a fucked up high school where the high school, his basketball coach was a water boy in high school. And now he's a teacher, so he gets to be he's a math teacher, so now he's a high school basketball teacher. You know what I mean? And he doesn't care about whether this kid goes to school or not to play ball. I just want to see everybody genuinely win. You know what I mean? Like, my thing is, I never want, like, I know what it's like to be in the belly of the beast, and I never want anybody to be where I went. You know what I mean? And it's so easy to end up in the streets. It's so easy to do the wrong shit. You know what I mean? And these are the guys that everyone forgets about. These are the guys that end up in these situations because no one cares the way they care about the kid that go to Christ the King. No one cares the way they care about the kid that go to St. Ray's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is just a platform for those guys so they could feel loved. They could feel like, oh, it's 20, 25 coaches here. Like, they here to see me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like those guys, you got a guy that goes up and down on the AAU year, and he's done already seen all these type of coaches in the room. You know what I mean? You got some kids that never been in a room with coaches. I remember when I got with Elite 84, Dakari Lewis never spoke to a college coach going into his senior year. You know what I mean? How many kids, like, and then you look at how his shit skyrocketed when he got to South Shore. Or, you know what I mean? It's just about giving those guys a chance, giving them a platform, the same platform as a kid that played in EYBF.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Giving a kid a platform the same way you're giving a college coach a platform to get to know a kid from his town.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You never know what could happen from the showcase. So, like, my showcase is not for the top ranked kid. You know what I mean? It's for the guy that's not, you know what I mean? It's for the guy that's not getting no love. It's for the guy that could probably play at a better situation than the top ranked kid.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? So it's about
go on.
Nah, you good. My showcase is about giving guys a shot, like giving you your shot. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you're gonna host my shit. Giving Jake Cornish, like, yo, you're gonna do all the interviews. The interview don't go down without you being able to talk to the kid first. You know what I mean? It's a platform to give you something to work on with the guys at the lower level. So now those lower level coaches is calling you like, hey, Dave, what you know about this kid? Dave, what you know? Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's make everybody feel how the top person feels. Like, and I just made a diamond in the rough because, you know what I mean? My friend got killed. My friend Daryl Adams. He got killed. And he was about to go play ball in college. You know what I mean? He was being recruited by Siena. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like, in my situation, I don't want a kid to become what I was. And I don't want a kid to, you know what I mean? Like, every man, like, and that's why I don't understand why, you know what I'm saying? If someone gonna throw dirt on oh, don't go to that because it's this or that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just doing it to help keep a kid from where I ended up at. And if we all did it for those reasons, like to make sure that the person behind us was good so that he could do it for the person behind him, then basketball as a whole would be a better place. But everybody wants to, oh, I did this, I did that. Nah, I champion every kid from Anton Berga down to the kid Isaiah Evans that played for me, that was the only kid on my team that went and played JV. You know what I mean? But he went for 3 years. He went to Benjamin Cardozo where he couldn't play on the team, and it wasn't, you know, he wouldn't have made the team. He didn't do anything. He comes to Martin Luther his senior year, makes the team. He's never played in an AAU game. He did all that with us. You know what I mean? He won 2 championships playing with us. He got a bag out of it. You know what I'm saying? He got that experience. He went on a college visit. He went on 2 college visits. You know what I mean? Like, he got to feel like he was a part of something. Like, yeah, he might not play on a high level of college, but he's gonna play JV. So he's still gonna get a season. And guess what? When he graduates, he's going for sports management, because guess what? Somebody on his AAU team is gonna be a pro. Somebody on his AAU team is gonna be a pro. On his high school team will be a pro. Whether it's Anton, Mano, Mike, whoever, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's gonna be a pro. Guess what? Zay will probably be an agent. So if Zay's an agent, guess what? Your man is now your agent. So now you and your man is breaking bread together.
Sad, man. So yeah, where tell the general public where the event will be.
May 2nd, 2021, from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. at Bronx River Community House at the center, Bronx River Community Center. I'm bringing the dogs out. I'm bringing the dogs out. There's no leash. There's no, that's my man. There's no friendship. There's none of that. It's straight. Come get this food. If he got something you want, take it.
So how many schools have you had reach out to you about the event so far?
So far, right now, we have 41 schools confirmed in county. And that's between prep school and between prep school and colleges. So we got 4-year schools, JUCOs, NAIA, USCAA, JV programs, post-grad, boarding school, prep school, everything. You name it, they there.
Indeed, man. That's big. So, tell me, in your opinion, what are some pros and cons about New York City basketball?
The pros, when played right, New York City basketball is like one of the best. You know what I'm saying? Like that atmosphere, the grittiness, just everything. The cons, I would say the cons of New York City basketball is everybody's in it for something for themselves. You know what I mean? Like guys that say that they're in it for the kids or this, that, and the third. But it's really more so if it's not a money thing, it's I got that kid this place, I got that kid here, I did this, I did that for him.
Right.
I'm just happy that I'm championing a kid that I want to champion a kid that put the work in that no one knew. You know what I mean? Like that's why I don't care what anybody say. Like when Anton made his 1,000 ball, like I damn near cried. You know what I mean? Like we did that. Like he wasn't supposed to get that. We did that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's the process of it. Like falling in love with putting the work in and then seeing it. Like I remember when Anton's goal was, going into the summer, he was like, I never hit a game winner. Like I want to hit a game winner.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of the projects, middle of the summer, hot as hell. Whole projects outside at the game. Middle of a story of projects. Anton gets the ball 4 seconds. And it just becomes it was so surreal because the one thing that we do every day, the one move that we work and train and work on
right.
and go over and over, he hits a game winner with it. Catches the ball, pump fakes, rips through, gets to his spot in the mid-range. 3, 2, 1, boom, game over.
Wow.
And
that's like a storybook ending right there.
And that's what he wanted. You know what I mean? Like he never did it. Then his next goal was like, I want to catch a dunk in the school season, but I want to catch it in a half-court setting, not a full court.
Mm-hmm.
2 minutes into the Cathedral game, Anton puts the kid in the basket.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And that's just from working every day. It was times when no one else on the team wanted to work, and I'm outside running in the rain with Anton, or me and his dad. I'm putting Anton through drills, and his dad is outside catching the rebounds, and we in a pouring down rain outside.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's about that, like putting in the work, man. Just put the work in, the rest gonna handle itself. It was times where I'd have a D1 hitting me up about Anton, and I'm showing him, and I'm just telling him, like, just stay focused. Like, this shit means nothing. Like, it can all be taken away from you tomorrow. Just stay ready so you never got to get ready.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I watched the pandemic when it first happened. I watched my kids, other kids. I watched what it did to them. You know what I mean? Like, I watched my kids get out of shape and have to take them to Far Rockaway Beach to get them back in shape. Like, the toughest thing I've ever had to watch was watching my best player look like he's my worst player and having to get him back to that. That was a work in itself. Like, Anton got heavy. He got to 190. Bad 190. Yeah. So it's like, I remember he went to his mom's house and he went to Virginia for the summer. And me and his dad had him checking in with us every day. Like, you're going to go to the park. You're going to do your regimen. You're going to do everything. You're going to check in and you're going to send us this every day to get him back into shape. And now he's in the best shape of his life. He'll never get back to what he was pre-pandemic in the beginning. Why? Because he knew how hard he had to get himself back in shape.
That's big right there, man. Shout outs to Anton. Where's he at now?
Anton is at D2 JUCO Genesee Community College.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Man, look, I can't wait to see him play ball soon.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, because the last game you seen him at, he had 30? We had about 25 the last game he was at ISA.
Yeah, so I probably did get to see him once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he played at ISA.
So with Royal Academy, now that, a lot of the Parks Department is allowing permits to be given to, the summer leagues, will Royal Academy be at any tournaments this summer? Or you just want to keep it in the gym strictly?
We're gonna do a couple joints, we're gonna do a couple joints. We're definitely gonna do bass. I'm gonna do my man is having something in the Bronx. I'm gonna do that at Echo Park.
Okay.
What else we gonna do? We're gonna do bass. We're gonna do real skills. We're gonna do a couple joints, but more than anything, Royal Academy. We back to breakfast hours once the summer get here. You know me, Dave, 7 to 11. We outside from 7 in the morning to 10:30, 11 in the afternoon. You know what I mean? We outside, we beating the sun and we getting to work in.
Yeah.
So anybody looking for anything, we training all summer. And we going 100 times harder than what we went last summer.
So this is one of the questions that I love to ask before I lead up to the final question. So if you could go back to in a time machine to, I'm gonna say 2005-ish, what would you tell a young Kaamil at 12 or 13 years old, as, you know what I'm saying, he's that young kid from South Jamaica getting into
Don't come home.
a little bit of trouble, but he loves the game of basketball, and will do anything to be on a court. This is before the incarceration, before Royal Academy, and everything else. Like, what would you tell a much younger Kai?
Fall in love with the process and shut up, listen more, and just trust the process and know that you're going to be in good hands. More than anything, So that would be talk twice as less and listen twice as much.
Bars. Bars.
That would be my message to myself.
Indeed. Final question. What's next in the future for Kaamil Dillard, a.k.a. Ka, and the Royal Academy?
I got something big coming, man. I'm working with me, Will Kelly, Coach Derek Irvin from Aspiring Prospects, Mark from Footprints. I'm working with a couple guys. I got something really good coming to the city. Just know my plan is I'm gonna bring that 5-star feel back to New York City. You know what I mean? For the summer. I'm telling you now. If they mad at me now, Dave, they gonna hate me when the summer get here. Because I'm gonna do something. I'm about to shake the city. Like, we're about to make this like 5-star for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm bringing that 5-star camp feel back. Go after a dog, miss the stations, all that. Like, we bringing all that back. This is the summer. Just know from here on, I'm going full throttle. I'm gonna be, everything I do is always gonna be right to it. We're gonna just keep it coming every time. We always innovating.
Indeed, man. Ka, thank you for coming on to share your testimony. And I wish you and Royal Academy nothing but the best moving forward.
I appreciate you, Dave, and I wish you nothing but the best moving forward as well, man. I appreciate you so much, Dave. Like, you know what I'm saying? People don't even know, like, 3 months ago, we had our own little mishap where, you know what I mean? We had a selective words of going back and forth, and I appreciate you, you know what I mean? We got past that, and we understood that, you know what I mean? It was, and I think that's the problem with us in New York City right now. Like, if someone say something, we just take it the wrong way and don't try to understand it. You know what I mean? And I'm glad we was able to understand that we just didn't agree on something, but that didn't mean that we disliked each other or anything. And now look, you know what I mean? We working together, and we're going to continue to work together to bridge the gap between coaches and media, players and media. And we're going to keep doing what we doing. We're going to keep doing what we got to do to make the game better in our neighborhood.
Facts. Well, everybody, this is episode 118 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout out to our good friend, Kaamil Ka Dillard of Royal Academy. For those of you from South Jamaica, Queens, the Bronx, and players that he's mentored and coached, coaches that he's had relationships with, and all the above, go check out, the Diamond in the Rough showcase on May 2nd in Bronx River. And for those that want to get to know Coach Ka or get in touch with him, go check him out on Instagram at Coach Ka _theroad.com. Oh, sorry. The Coach Ka the road. Nah, but seriously.
You're ready.
For those
I'm tired, just like you.
Yeah, for those of us for those that want to see this episode, go check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. Stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.
Appreciate you, Dave.